What if I told you that the secret to success was having fun? It's something I believe in wholeheartedly, which is why I had to have Jessa Glover on the podcast. I have never seen someone make the online service provider life look so fun, so easy, and even, dare I say it, glamorous and sexy. If that sounds far-fetched, it's just because you haven't met Jessa yet. So let's dive into today's episode.
You're listening to the Support Squad podcast, where virtual assistants come together to share their best business tools and tips. Virtual assistant for life coaches Sharon Nissen created the Support Squad with a firm belief in community over competition. Whether you're a new virtual assistant looking for advice on how to get started, or an established virtual assistant looking to expand your skills and invite even more abundance into your career, you're in the right place. Working from home doesn't have to be lonely. We're in this together. Now, here she is, the host of the Support Squad podcast, Sharon Nissen.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Support Squad podcast. This is one episode I really wish you could see instead of just hear, because my guest today, Jessa Glover, showed up to our call on Zoom in an amazing pink furry coat and pink glasses. And this is pretty much how Jessa always shows up. I loved chatting with Jessa about how our income is directly proportional to how much fun we're having in our business. Just like my conversation with Jenna Dakin about balance last month, I truly believe that fun is not negotiable in a business. It's foundational, as in you will not be successful if you're not having fun. So after we recorded her podcast and training for the Support Squad membership community, Jessa and I chatted a little bit about the DMs we get from new virtual assistants who are struggling. And we agreed that the best advice we could give them is to take the time to work on their energy and what they're projecting out into the world. And Jessa is the perfect person to teach us this. So let me tell you a little bit more about her. Jessa is a transplant from the northwest suburbs of Chicago, Illinois, and her family relocated to Metro Atlanta in 2008. When an unplanned pregnancy led to a tumultuous college career, she turned her focus to a professional one. Jessa began climbing the corporate ladder and was working as an executive assistant when an unexpected layoff opened an opportunity for her to explore entrepreneurship. As a business strategist, Jessa empowers others like herself, wealth-building, purpose-driven womenpreneurs who mean business. Her passion is designing insightful and intentional strategy for her clients' businesses and social platforms. She now resides and works remotely from her office in a northwest neighborhood of Atlanta, where she serves as co-chair of the communications committee for the neighborhood association. On top of running her business and single parenting, her education continues through Kennesaw State University while she pursues a BBA in information security. When she's not strategizing and helping others build their empires, Jessa enjoys spending time with her son outdoors, learning new things, and enjoying the best margaritas the city has to offer. Okay, I can't wait for you to hear from her. Let's get started. Jessa, I am so excited to have you here today.
I'm super stoked to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I wish everyone could see you right now because you have on like a pink fuzzy jacket and like pink glasses and you just look amazing.
It's me, right?
So good. So I have been following on Instagram forever and I just adore you. And I am so excited to introduce you to everyone. And the way I always like to start with our guests is for you to just tell me a little bit about your journey. Most of the folks that listen to the podcast are new virtual assistants. And so we love to hear how you get started, like what your journeys looked like from start to where you are now.
For sure. So I was working as an executive assistant to the VP of this wholesale company and doing all of the things, so many things. We were traveling all over the country doing trade shows, and the VP I worked under did not speak English was not his first language. So I had to do like all of the communications, all of the negotiations, like so much. And we had a very small team because it was a new brand. So they were keeping the team very small, but I had to manage the team, hire and fire, like all of it. And the company, like I mentioned, was a new brand. We did about a year and a half, and it did end up going under. So it was a Thursday, and my employer said to me, "Tomorrow's our last day. We're closing the doors." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I had just bought my first home, Sharon. Like I was like, I'm like, okay, I'm doing my thing. Like I'm a single mom, just bought a house. Like I'm on my big girl wave. Like I've got it together. And then psych. So I literally packed my son up in the car. He was almost a year old at this point. Packed him up in the car. I live in Atlanta, drove down to Florida, sat on the beach for 2 days. And I just remember thinking, like, what am I going to do now on Saturday? And then on Sunday, I was like, I have some awesome skills. And I know that I want to be home. I was raised by a single mom too, who worked from home. So I was like, I know I want to be home. I know I want to work from home. I know I want to have some flexibility. And being that was the second time I had ever been laid off, I said to myself, there's no real stability in working for someone else. So I might as well just work for myself. And I don't know how, but I got to digging and diving on the internet, and the term virtual assistant came up. And I was like, oh, like all of us, oh, right? Like, that's it. That's the thing. So I started just showing up online and connecting with small business owners locally. I used Craigslist, Facebook groups, Instagram, the latter two being now like my main things really. But I just started putting myself out there and showing up where I thought my people would be. And sure enough, I was able to not only just like replace, but double my corporate salary within like 6 months, which is something I never, like, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I had no, people are like, you got to have this and you got to have a plan and your ideal client and all of that mapped out. No way. I didn't have any of that. I was just like, I'm just going to go for it and say yes to the things that I think will be good and no to the things I think will not. Then in November of last year, I really niched down. I had a client that kind of became a mentor of mine, multiple 7-figure earner. And she helped kind of guide me through like getting really clear on what my gift is and how I can be of high service to my ideal client. And from there, it just exploded. Like it just really, really started to snowball and grow bigger and bigger from there. Last month, I was able to book out my implementation services for the first time. So that's 18 months in.
Wow.
Fully. And then now I'm moving into coaching because I feel like that's the natural progression of where things are going. And I love to like just lift and empower people to the next level. And for me, I'm like, for someone who has almost failed out of college twice because she thinks it's boring, who is like super ambitious, but kind of all over the place. Like if I can do this, not to mention somebody who's also been institutionalized twice, has a baby, is still working on her degree and is growing this business. Like if I can do this, I know that there are so many other women that I can help do this too. So that's how it got to be where it is today.
Yeah.
I feel like I just said a whole mouthful.
Well, no, you said beautiful things. That my favorite part of that story was the visual of you taking your baby down to the beach in Florida and like just having that moment of clarity. I think that's, you know, in those moments we either have that chance to rise up or, you know, and those moments are confronting, but they can be so life-changing.
Yeah. I always say it's like you break down or you break through. Like It's one of those moments where you have a choice. Like I can either break down right now or I can break through this. Cause it's just like, it's like a door, you know, like I'm going to just push through it. And I'm glad that I did.
Yes, totally. And I can relate to a lot of the other things you mentioned. Like college was not for me. I had the same feeling. I was bored. I was unmotivated. Also dealing with what I didn't realize was like deep undiagnosed. So like, it's so wonderful to realize that just because we didn't fit into like the traditional routes of success, that there's still, you know, hope for people like us with so many like skills that maybe don't fit into those molds.
For
so
sure.
I love hearing that.
And I think too, like to piggyback off of what you just said, I think that we hear a lot of this story of like men who were college dropouts or didn't go to school and then they became multi-gazillionaires, but we don't really hear that story often about women. We're like, she got 37 degrees and she's got, you know, her doctors and masters and all this stuff. And then she was able to become a millionaire. We don't really hear like the college dropout or beauty school dropout story with highly successful women often enough as I would like to hear it, because I always thought that like, in order to be successful, I had to finish my degree.
Wow. That is so true. Like that is so true. I feel like a lot of times it's like we're expected to be at all the things. We have to have all the boxes checked. And we
have to look good while doing it.
And look good while doing it, which you're a pro at, obviously. But you're so right. I mean, and it's so wonderful to connect with other women who are breaking the molds and showing that there's different ways to have success. I mean, I hear that story all of the time from super successful women. So for us to share stories like that is so important, I think.
I agree. Totally.
So thank you so much. So I've been following you on Instagram forever. And the one thing that always happens to me, like you're my favorite person to follow, because I watch your Instagram stories and it's like, you know, and when Harry met Sally, when that old lady's like, I'll have what she's having, like that's kind of the experience that I have. Because you make like online business and like systems and all of these things look so fun.
Yeah.
So like what I want to know is like, what are you having? Like,
what are you having? Yes, a huge glass of fun. And that's like the word that word is so central to my business and my brand. In fact, like my post for today is less dumb shit, more fun shit. Like, I hope it's okay to curse, but literally gosh,
yes, that's what the little E is for.
Yeah. So, like I try to make everything as much as I can just fun and simple and easy. And in fact, someone messaged me today and was talking about a video I posted last week. And she's like, oh, this strategy works so well. I was able to land like a podcast interview and a discovery call. Thank you so much. And I said, it's so easy, right? It's easy and it's fun. And she's like, yeah, that's what I love about you. And I just got to thinking, I'm like, I've like made this so much part of myself, part of my brand and my business, because I know if it's not easy and it's not fun, I'm probably not going to do it, if we're just being totally honest. So that it's like, do you follow Manifestation Babe?
Yes.
She has, in fact, I'll show you right now. You guys listening won't be able to see this, but on my phone, legit, the background on my phone says, the more fun I have, the more money I make. And I like firmly, wholeheartedly believe that. And so I just show up and I have fun. And like, if it's not going to be fun, then I'm not going to show up.
Right.
So that's really the core thing. And it works and people are just magnetized. I think that all of us, men, women, the whole world, we're so glued and sucked into like I've got to do this, and I, got to look like I'm having the time of my life on social and all of this stuff. But it's like, if we just show up in our lives and have even just a little bit more fun, it makes a huge impact on like our mental clarity and our soul health and all around. Like, there's no way that you can lose when you have fun.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's what, when I first started learning about attraction, and I was like, okay, so the only downside of this would be that I'm like feeling good and having a good time.
Right.
Like,
Darn.
Oops, I messed that one up. Like,
Yeah.
no, I think that's so true. Like the more, I've noticed that in my business. Huge trend. The more I'm enjoying my work, the more I'm finding the joy in it, the more I'm having fun with my clients, building those great relationships. For sure, like, income is directly proportional to that.
Sure. Absolutely.
So thank you for being just like a shining example of how to do that, because I don't see anyone on Instagram having as much fun as you are.
Thank you.
Just like in your house, like working on systems. How are you doing it?
And I always think, it's funny you say that too, because I always think to myself, like, I'm actually quite introverted. I have somewhat of like agoraphobia, not like extreme, but like, I don't really love leaving my house and being in big crowds and stuff like that. And so I always wonder, I'm like, I feel like I should be having more fun out in public, but I'm having so much fun inside. Like, and that's just real. That's just real life,
That's how it is. True for a lot of us that are like on Instagram and are online entrepreneurs. Like, we can be really bubbly, but I mean, I wouldn't call myself an introvert, but I'm definitely not as like outgoing in public as I would be like online. Like, it's like, that's why we thrive in this space, I think. So
I was a theater kid, so I can like turn it on when I need to, and then I turn it off.
Yes.
Does everything make sense now, right?
Yes. No, I can totally relate to that. I was in theater too. I wasn't like a full-on theater kid, but I can definitely relate to that a little bit. So I can totally see that. So yeah, the other thing I want to talk about. Okay, so first, before I go into this, I want to tell you, like, when I first started as a virtual assistant, I had no idea like where to market myself or like how to get seen by clients. And so one of my very first clients was an owner of a dental drill repair company. And I had like a string of very boring clients, but I had no idea how to put myself out there in a way that would like attract clients that were like more of the caliber that I wanted to work with. Like, because I saw virtual assistants working for coaches, and like, that's what I'm doing now. But at the beginning I had no idea. And I hear that a lot from people. It's like, I'm marketing myself all these different ways, but how do I get seen? And I know you're a pro at that. So I wonder if you could share some insight on how to make that happen, how to get seen by these bigger clients.
Yeah, I make it a point, like when I first started out, quick side note, one of my first clients was like, he was pulling up railroad ties here in Atlanta. So we all have those like random, like totally random. I have no idea what I'm doing, but he's willing to pay me $40 an hour. So why not? Like, so been there. But as far as visibility goes, I made it a point at the very beginning when I was like, okay, I'm really going to do this thing, spending an hour a day, even if I had to break it up into like 15, 20-minute chunks, showing up on Instagram and Facebook at minimum. Now, I would even do like, okay, if this wasn't working, then the next month I would do like, okay, let me try to show up on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and like rotate those during the different days. And I swear, and I swear by this, and I say this, I'll say this too in the training that we're going to do, is like, it doesn't really matter where you show up. It just matters that you show up. It matters that you show up and how you show up. And that is really what it boils down to. So some people are like, I'm going to go gung-ho on LinkedIn. I can't. I'm just too, I'm not polished enough for LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, that's their bread and butter, and they're able to make a ton of money and get a ton of leads through LinkedIn. And I don't think, like, if I wanted to do LinkedIn, I probably could, but it doesn't match with my specific energy. So like I said, it doesn't matter really where. It's more so just about that you show up and how you show up. And you know that.
Yes, for sure. Yes, I tell, the folks in the Support Squad membership and podcast, anyone I talk to, like, you have to just be consistent with one thing, like choose the thing that works for you. And it goes back to what you were talking about having fun and feeling good. Like that energy has to be there. And there's no point in like spreading yourself into places where that energy is not there. So I totally agree with that.
And when I look back now too, at any sort of like visibility strategy that I tried and didn't work, it probably definitely had me like in tears, frustrated, sitting at my laptop, not wanting to do it. But now it's like, I've tried multiple strategies over the last almost 2 years now, but I feel like in the last 6 months, I really found the one that worked for me. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I can see it every day like that it's working. And yeah, you're such a pro. So yes. So I'm so excited for your training. Is there anything else you can kind of share with us about that?
Yeah. So the training is going to be about stories specifically. And this has been one of the most fun and fruitful tools that I've used to share my message and land clients and attract people and really build a community of women who are super legit. Like I just, every day I'm like, this is really happening. Like there's like real women that are like impacted by my message and my work, and that, are starting to show up for themselves. And I got goosebumps just saying it, because it's like, that's the sweet spot that we all want, right? Like you show up every day consistently and you don't see much. And then you start getting these messages like, hey, this training that you did really helped me land clients, or I booked this because of that. And then you're like, oh snap, like it's working. And that's just like the best feeling in the world. So stories is like the number one thing that I've consistently shown up for every day. And I made it a point because it's like the most fun thing for me.
Yes. I mean, it's, if it's something that connects with you and it's something that you enjoy doing, it like does not feel like work. It doesn't feel like marketing. It doesn't feel stressful or like you're pushing. Like if it's done the right way, it can really just feel super fun. So I can't wait to see what you have to share with that. And I know you have like so much going on right now. And I'm excited to hear how our listeners can get in touch with you and work with you and learn more about you.
Yeah. So you guys, for sure, of course, you guys are going to want to see my stories now that you've heard how wonderful they are. But you can hang out with me on Instagram at Virtual Boss Break Room. That's also, if you're like a Facebook gal, you can find me typing that in on Facebook as well. But I do have private coaching opening up soon. Like when you guys are listening to this, you'll be able to apply. So the link will be in my bio. You can apply. And if you're selected, we'll chat and we can talk about getting visible and scaling and having fun and attracting awesome clients. So what this training is going to be about specifically for the stories is part of what I call the Mama J method. And the Mama J method is what I'm going to be diving into really deep with my private coaching clients. So if that's something you guys are interested in, you can find me on the gram.
I love that. You guys act fast on that because I don't think there's a ton of time on.
No, and I'm only opening up 3 spots.
Okay. Act super fast. Like right now.
Yeah.
Now. And those links will be in the show notes too.
Cool.
So,
yes. Thank you.
Yes. So thesupportsquad.com is where you can find all of that info about Jessa. And of course, if you want to check out her training, that's going to be live for Support Squad members in November. I can't believe it's November. Oh my gosh. It's wild.
I know. It's so crazy. I'm looking at my son's little pumpkin on the table behind my computer right now, and he's like so protective over this pumpkin, Cheryl. Like he's like, this pumpkin is his baby right now. I moved it to like the kitchen, and he was like, oh no. No, Mom. That pumpkin goes in the front of the house.
Oh my gosh, they love their pumpkins, don't they? Like my daughter has one that's like decorated like a dog, and it's similar.
Am I her worst mom because I haven't done any pumpkin carving or decorating yet?
I can't stand to do pumpkin carving, and and I am not a fall decorator. Like I'm all for Christmas, but for me, I don't like too much clutter, and so I can stand Christmas until literally the day after Christmas. But fall,
I'm here. I'm right there with you. I can't do the clutter.
Yeah, and fall, like leaves and stuff everywhere. It's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. It's so cute when I go to other people's houses. Like my sister's house is like so fall decorated, but then like I couldn't.
Then you leave. And then I say that to my partner all the time. I'm like, that was nice. And then we left.
I love that. Exactly. Well, I love that. I've had so much fun chatting with you. I can't wait to see your training. I know it's going to be amazing. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Of course. Bye. You guys, I told you that was going to be fun. I just adore Jessa, and if you want to learn more from her and soak up all the wisdom and fun that she has to offer, make sure to follow her on all the links that she mentioned. They are in the show notes at thesupportsquad.com. And if you want to learn more from Jessa about how to use your stories to land high-profile clients, you have to check out her training. It goes live in the Support Squad membership community on November 1st. Remember, you can sign up for free and enjoys 14 days of membership totally for free when you enroll in the Support Squad membership community. So make sure to do that now so that you can get instant access to all that the membership has to offer, and also get that training when it goes live on November 1st. I will see you in there. Thanks so much, and until next time, Boss Babe.